Nick Shirley, the YouTuber who made the now viral video alleging fraud at Somali-run daycare centers in Minnesota, shared new details about the video in an interview with fellow YouTuber Andrew Callaghan.
During the interview, Callaghan brought up how Shirley's video was posted around the same time as the DOJ releasing the Epstein files, which were blasted by the public for containing large amounts of redactions. Callaghan posed the question to Shirley whether he thought his video was intended to serve as a distraction from the files or had that effect, regardless of intention.
Part of you that was curious if maybe there was people in the GOP who chose to signal boost your piece as wide and far as possible in a way to distract and move the goalpost away from that?
I don't know. Like if that was their initiative, it probably worked pretty well. But I just posted my YouTube video, and that's the beautiful thing about the internet, is you just post and see what happens. Every week I've been uploading video. To me, that was just gonna be like another YouTube upload.
Then Shirley went on to say he's been harassed and even received death threats since posting the video, and he blames Democrats for that.
Why are Democrats calling me a white supremacist for talking against fraud? I have 24/7 security with me right now because people think me exposing fraud is bad.
And was that something that has kind of like deepened your perception of the left as being like super crazy and messed up?
Yeah, I just think everything they say they're the party of peace, party of acceptance. Meanwhile, they call people like me fascists and Nazis. Yeah, they call me a fascist. Meanwhile, they won't let me speak.
And Shirley took his claims up a level, even comparing the Somalians accused of fraud to modern-day pirates. Take a look.
It's a fact that they're committing some sort of piracy in Minnesota. 89% of the fraud is committed by Somalis. And that's a fact. When we talk about building trust in the future of media, we need to be able to say things for what they are.
Callaghan, the interviewer, is the guy who did a Hunter Biden interview.
Yes, I remember that.
He's done a bunch of really impactful or interesting long-form interviews. He's good at what he does. Nick Shirley obviously is the one who had the daycare video and that went super mega viral. I don't agree with Callaghan. I thought this was an interesting conversation they had. I don't agree with Callaghan that he was implying that he did think how viral it went was some sort of manipulated thing to cover up how embarrassing the Epstein files release was for Republicans to like look, don't pay attention to that, pay attention to something else. That is itself kind of conspiratorial. I think the interest in the fraud story is pretty genuine. People don't like fraud. People are outraged by what they've learned and by what Nick Shirley showed them. So I don't think it was implying some kind of inauthentic thing. That's frankly, a little lefty. Lefty people are always saying, oh, you're being distracted by, you should care about this thing. See how you're being tricked.
Look over here.
Yeah, I don't really think so. The rest of the interview, Callaghan came off more favorably. He challenged Shirley on some stuff. And at one point, we didn't play that clip, but Shirley says, like, well, I didn't like when I was really offended by how you didn't say when Charlie Kirk got killed, you didn't say anything about how bad that was. And Andrew Callaghan has talked about how bad that was. And he's like, but I have done that. That's not true. I did say that. And he's like, well, I haven't seen it. Like, okay, well.
That doesn't mean.
It doesn't mean it didn't exist. You didn't go looking for it. So.
I think, you know what, maybe the president has the best luck of all time and the administration have the best luck of all time. Because if you look at Google Trends, which was in an article, even as much interest as there was in the fraud story, on December 16th, when his YouTube video was shared by a lot of leadership, that's when the searches in Somali fraud spiked like 20-fold, and you see it go up. His video has been viewed more than like 116 million times at this point. So it got lucky because you can share anything. It doesn't mean it goes mega viral like this did. This like had legs that continue running. But I was actually interested in this interview too, because I thought that as somebody who just went to the community, he and Callaghan have it in common that they both kind of do their own thing. Like he did the interview with Hunter Biden, like they're not attached to major organizations. And so even though people have been critical of Shirley's reporting, like, okay, how much did you fact check and everything, he still just took a camera and went and did his thing. And it's up to these bigger organizations to continue to verify what he says. He did point out and expose something that's an actual issue. My biggest issue with the Somali fraud is that the president wants to indict an entire ethnic group, which I think is completely wrong. And I'll continue to say that. But the fraud still existed. And I think that Shirley pointed out and saw that as somebody who posts videos all the time, this blew his mind that it went this big. But this is that like citizen reporting that's okay to do. And now it's just up to the bigger organizations to follow it up. I mean, he went to go see for himself. You have to say for anybody that's out there just checking what's going on. I mean, this is how you get real information. It starts from local news, but before that, it starts from somebody with a camera sharing it with local news or tipping off a story or where they get. So, you know, local news turns into national news because of how much it relates to the rest of the country. So he did fine to me. I also thought it was interesting in this interview when he talked about not receiving money from any party. So if Shirley is telling the truth, it kind of goes back to what we were just talking about, because Callaghan asked him, so if a party came to you and said, you know, I'll give you some money, would you take it? And he said, absolutely not. I don't need to. I make enough money on YouTube. Why would I do that? And so that shows a little bit of moral fiber tying back to our conversation. I'm glad that he says that, because a lot of people automatically thought, oh, this is some Republican operative. But he's like, no, I literally just went out there and took my camera and do what I always do on YouTube. And so if he's telling the truth, then I think that it's honorable that he wouldn't accept it.
And again, well, you can think that. I mean, yeah, I agree. I mean, taking money explicitly from a party, well, then you're just then you're a mouthpiece of that party. That's a little different. The work should stand on its own.
Right. And I think if he had taken money, I don't know what he's going to do in the future. If he had taken money and then went to all these daycares, then it would look like a more obvious attempt to connect that dot between the Epstein story, look this way, and what the Republican Party wanted to get the attention on.
Yeah.
But since he didn't, he really just did some reporting. And so we'll have to see what happens in Minnesota next. I mean, Minnesota, unfortunately, has a lot of eyeballs on the state for a lot of not great reasons, from what happened to Renee Good to what happened with the fraud cases, even dating back to the pandemic with George Floyd. I'm sure this Minneapolis as a city and Minnesota as a state, the people there are like, enough. I mean, it's been a long 6 years.
Yes, it's getting a lot of attention. I would say it has suffered from some not ideal governance and leadership, and that is a result there. But I don't think we're done focusing on the state of Minnesota. They're sending in more ICE agents. They were only beginning to get to the bottom of the fraud and tensions that people feel toward, some on the right, toward migrant groups or immigrant groups is going to continue as a result of this story. So it's not like the story's over.
I know, it's not going to go away. I just feel bad for the people in the community that just want to bring their kid to school and relax and drive around their neighborhood. They got to find a school that's
actually open and
no. There's a lot of nuance to his reporting that people are like, wait, did these close a while ago?
So let's go to one where they didn't misspell learning on the door.
Yeah, what was it, leading?
The leering sentence.
Leering. Yeah, I didn't love that. I didn't love to see that.
Pretty bad.
Yeah, I didn't like to see that.
Yeah. And then she said they're closed. And they're still, then the kids are being unloaded in the truck behind him. All right, we've got a lot more to talk about on Rising. Please stay with us.